Yeah, that feels like we're pumping. I'll be careful. I don't. Yeah, that's exactly what I didn't want to happen right there. This just ain't working so good. I don't know what's going on. I mean, it's working. It's just being a... God, man, this is ridiculous. Hey, don't buy one of these. These are terrible. Yeah, screw this. You know what? I'm throwing in the towel officially. Ugh. We may just end up just putting it back together the way it was and just sitting it. Hey everybody, welcome back. We are still on the 09 Porsche Cayenne S. All right, we was having some transmission issues, and it's kind of turning out to be a situation here. So just to get everybody caught up, in case you may have missed it, we have this 09 Porsche that it gets caught in third gear after it warms up, gets to operating temperature. So we thought all you got to do is jump in there, replace a shift solenoid, and we can move on, right? Well, it didn't take long to run into a little snag. Apparently all of these shift solenoids are aftermarket, and for whatever reason, I cannot buy a shift solenoid by itself, a factory one. They want to sell me this whole thing, and I ain't doing it, not on a flip car. So we're trying to get around this the best we can, and so what I've done is I bought a repair kit to repair the shift solenoid, which all it's doing is just hanging up is all it's doing. So this repair kit will take care of that, but unfortunately the repair kit is for the factory solenoids, which we don't have. These are aftermarket. So I found one online, a remanufactured one, came in the mail today. I opened it up and guess what? It's the same thing, you guys. It's the same thing that's already in it. Look at this. Yeah, the old aftermarket one. So hey, if they say it's good, we're gonna put it in there and just see what happens. Hopefully this will fix our issue. Unfortunately, the one that came out of it, something seems to be wrong with it. Yeah, here's the one that came out of it right here, and you can see that this aftermarket one's basically the same thing. Different colored plug. That's kind of odd, but whatever. Okay, you guys, let's see if I can explain this well. This is what I hate about the aftermarket. Things tend to be different sometimes. This is the one that came out of it, okay? And the way this goes is it just slides right into the hole. You see how the plug is facing straight up and down, just like all the other solenoids in here. The plug is straight up and down, and then this pin goes right into this hole, and that's what holds it in, okay? Now that pin, it goes right into this little groove. You see this groove right here on the side? All right, that's what holds this shift solenoid from falling out of the hole, okay? Now, when you come over here to this one, obviously you're gonna wanna go in and install it the same way, right? Wrong. I don't know why, but for some reason they thought it would be cool to make it to where you have to turn this on its side like this before this pin will go in. You have to hold your mouth just right, and then it'll fall in just like that. Now how weird is that? Why did they do that? That's confusing as hell, and I want to show you guys. I know what you're thinking, like, oh man, there's no way that must not be the right solenoid. Well, let's pull it out. There we go. And let's look at them side by side with the plug straight up and down. Look at what we got going on here. You see all the grooves on the side? You see how they don't match at all, do they? But then when you turn this over on its side a little bit, everything's exactly the same. So kind of weird. I don't know why it's like that. A little bit confusing, especially for a guy that hasn't done this before. I mean, why they want to throw me a curveball like that, I don't know. Another thing I was noticing is I went online and actually looked up the manual on this, an exploded view, all of that stuff. And when you go through their diagram online, these two solenoids right here, N92 and N90, they're backwards. They're the other way around. You got N92 on top and N90 on the bottom. Totally opposite from what they say is on this diagram that came in the repair kit. So I'm flying by the seat of my pants. No fun when you're dealing with transmission stuff, I'll tell you that. But we're going to give it a shot. We're going to put this in there. Tilt it on its side. It's so stupid. Okay. And then, like I said, you got to hold your mouth just right. And then this pin will fall down in there. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all installed. There we go. Get this all installed. Get everything torqued. And then we're going to fill it up with transmission fluid and hope like hell we're not wasting our time. That's a lot of transmission fluid. I think I mentioned it's about $70 worth of transmission fluid. another $70 for the shift solenoid, another $50 for the transmission gasket and the fluid filter. So we're in it now, and it sure would be a shame to find out that the aftermarket's going to do us in. Porsche, they wanted to sell me all of this. They want like $3 grand for all of this. You can find them on eBay used, I guess, for around $1,200. I don't know, stuff. This is all new to me. I've never messed with a Porsche before. So anyway, we're giving it our shot. We're giving it a shot. We're giving it our best shot is what I'm trying to say. And hopefully this will all pan out, because when it's all said and done, we just want our third gear shift. That's all that we're after. That's all that was wrong with it. Wasn't anything else wrong with it. This right here, in case I failed to mention, is what goes over all of those pins and holds them in place, so that your the shift solenoid, try saying that 3 times in a row, makes it where they don't fall out. If the pins don't fall out, then obviously the solenoids won't fall out either. So anyway, I got to get all of this torque down. What'd they say, 89 inch-pounds for all of this. I think that, what'd that come out to, almost 10 foot-pounds, something like that. So anyway, that's what they recommend you torque all of this stuff to, these, and then all of the bolts that hold this back into the transmission. Well, okay, it's come time to put this thing back together, and obviously you're going to go in the reverse order that you took it apart, but there is something worth mentioning, and I'll show you right here. Y'all see this thing here? It's got this little thing sticking out of it there. Well, that's your actual shifter. I mean, when you shift the shift selector up there, this is what moves, and this little part here actually hooks into this little part right here. It's got a little groove in it, so very important that you get that lined up, or none of this is going to work. You can see here where I've actually laid out the pattern that all the bolts go in that hold it in. We've labeled an F there for the front, so we know, and all we got to do is just take these and just transfer it straight up in there, and they'll go exactly where they need to go. These are different lengths, so you'll want to do that for sure if you ever do one of these. Well, okay, so I've managed to get a couple bolts started. It's kind of helping us out a little bit now. Now, in case I didn't mention it, I got that into its groove where it goes. And basically what I'm doing is, at first I'm just starting all the bolts in all 4 corners. And I think that's going to help us keep this thing up here where it needs to be. Because like I said, it's just heavy enough to be really awkward. Well, now that I got all those started, I can work on it with ease. Go through here and finish up putting all the bolts in it. It's really important that you torque these down, so make sure that you do that. Now, before I even make any attempt at tightening any of this up, or even snugging it up, I want to make sure that none of these harnesses are being pinched in between the valve body and the transmission itself, and we seem to be okay, so I think we're good. I'm going to go through and snug them all up, and then we'll torque them. Get ready to plug all these plugs in. Pretty self-explanatory. You can see there where they all pretty well line up right where they go, you know. And then this one over here, this long one, it'll plug in back here to this one, and then of course this one plugs into here. So everything's laid out really well, so we shouldn't have any issues getting anything mixed up. I think I'll start over here with the longest one first. It comes back here, goes into there. Easy enough. Okay. And then all these solenoids will get plugged in. And there's our goofy one now. I'll clock the wrong way. I don't know, y'all. Whatever. But I'll tell you, the slightest little, anything slightest bit off, and all of a sudden your wiring harnesses won't line up. They won't be long enough. So you want to make sure you get all this routed the right way. And just to give you an example, just having that one solenoid clock just a little bit over that way has now pulled our wiring harness over this way a bit, which wasn't how it was before. It was actually kind of back here some more. Whatever, I think that'll be okay. I don't think it's gonna hurt anything. Let's see, I got this one last plug. There we go. Let's plug that guy in. Okay. This one here, I can't remember exactly what this did. Something to do with line pressure, I believe. I could be wrong on that. I think that's what it was. Let's see. I try to be as careful as I can with these. I don't like folding the wires over or any of that stuff. So let's see. I got to pull this bolt out. Oh no, that wasn't the right one. Hang on, bear with me. It's this one. There we go. Yeah, see, this has got to go in there, and then this weird little fork thing I'll show you. It's kind of a little keeper, keeps it in the hole. You see that there? I can't even tell if I'm on camera. There we go. That little guy there is what's going to hold this guy in. Yeah, like that. You put the bolt back in it, and then she's not going nowhere. It's in there. Just snug it up. There we go. That takes care of that. I plugged this in over here all weird just to get it out of my way, and now I kind of wish I hadn't done that. Now I got to go find my pick. Maybe. Let's see. There we go. Okay, there we go. Now we got it out. There. Okay, that takes care of that. So yeah, I believe that clips on right there, just like that. Yeah, you remember we got a brand new filter, gasket, and everything. So yeah, it's time for the filter. Don't forget your little O-ring. And also look up in here and make sure there's no O-ring. The old O-ring was stuck in there. I had to pull it out. And you want to make sure that you don't end up with 2 O-rings. And you want to make sure you don't end up with no O-rings. Really important. This is just going to pop right up there. It's got a couple of bolts, or actually 3 bolts. 2 in the front, 1 in the back that hold it in. So really easy. There we go. We'll get this on there. Then it's time for the pan. And like I said, we got a brand new gasket on it as well. Dropping my stuff. There we go. And just like before, you just want to make sure you're not squishing anything. Make sure you're not pinching up any of those wires. We're just going to snug this up. There we go. Here's the pan gasket, all nice and clean. We got our magnets cleaned off. We did that in the last video. And here's our brand new gasket. Did that in the last video as well. So let's put it on. Probably put one on each side, just kind of help hold it up for a minute. These go on really easy. They come on and off really easy on these. Nothing's in the way once you get the splash shield and everything off. It's got a big belly pan that goes underneath here. And once you get that out of the way, man, the rest is simple. Let's go through and snug these up. Usually I'll just run them up there with that just to save time, and then I'll go through and hand tighten them. These have a torque spec too. I'll have to go back and look them up, but it has a metal sleeve inside there, so there's really no way to squish the gasket, you know, like sometimes can happen when you over tighten them. You'll squish it and actually make it leak worse. This one you don't really have to worry about that as long as you don't get too carried away. You ought to be all right. Okay, I think that's going to get it. Yep, that's good enough. Let's double check and make sure the drain plug is tight. There we go. Okay, now for the fun part. We got to pull out this plug here. This is the fill plug. And we got to pump it full of transmission fluid. And I know some of you guys are like, that is the stupidest thing ever. And I agree, pretty dumb. But you know what? You can't even hold that to Porsche only. There's a lot of them doing it, man. Chevy, Ford, everything, dude. Everything's, they got it set where you got to pump it in now. It's really stupid. I don't know why. I guess they just want you to have to go to the dealership to have it worked on. They don't want you to work on your own stuff no more. I don't really know. But we've got something here that might get us through this. little cheap little $6 pump from Harbor Freight. Yeah, that's where it was from. So this guy's gonna go up in here, and the way it goes is it's gonna go in there and kind of make a little elbow. And then once that's in there, this other end will go into your quarter transmission fluid, and you just start pumping it in. Hopefully. Alright, so we should be able to drop this down into there, get it all the way down to the bottom. There we go. And supposedly, when we pull this out, it's going to suck it in this side, and we'll be able to push it out that side. Let's see what happens. I feel something. I think we're pumping. Yeah, that feels like we're pumping. I'll be careful. I don't. Yeah, that's exactly what I didn't want to happen right there. Well, that sucked. Note to self: don't push so hard this time. God. I mean, it's working. It's just been a. God, man, this is ridiculous. Well, okay, take 3. This just ain't working so good. I don't know what's going on. Maybe we're kinked up. Yeah, something's up. This pump sucks, by the way. Don't buy one of these. These are terrible. Yeah, screw this. You know what? I'm throwing in the towel officially. Ugh. Okay. We're better now, y'all. Basically, I had it kinked up where it went into the pan like we were afraid of, and sure enough, it kinked up, and so I can't even blame it on this, even though I was about to. So I'm going to keep on pumping this, and the way you want to do this is you want to pump this until it starts to run out of the hole. Okay, there's 1 gallon down. Okay, here comes gallon number 2. This pump is actually working okay now that I figured it out. It's kind of important that you don't allow it to kink up. It's kind of common sense, right? It's hard to tell once you push it up into that pan. You know, you just got to be really careful. But if this isn't pumping and you try to force it, you see what happens. So don't force it. And obviously, it's kinked somewhere if that's what it's doing. So anyway, I'm going to keep on pumping this until it starts to run out of that fill tube. And man, we're already, there we go. Y'all see how it's running out of there now? All right, so at this point, what we want to do is start the vehicle. All right, with the engine running, we're going to pump it full of fluid until it runs out again. So you see there, we're running out again. At this point, I want to put it through all the gears. Yeah, so with the foot on the brake, obviously, we'll go it into reverse, neutral, drive, back to neutral, back to reverse, back to park. And I'll just keep doing that a few times. Let it hang out in each gear for a few seconds. Down to drive. All right, back up to reverse. Like I said, let it sit in each gear for a few seconds. And I'll go through this a few times, just, you know, for good measure. I'm gonna go ahead and pump some more fluid into it. There we go, we're running out again. Yeah, you see we're running out again. So at this point, we want to let the engine warm up to operating temperature. So after doing what we just did with the valve body and the changing of the fluid and all that, they're saying around 8.5 quarts is what it's going to take. We're a little over halfway there. So after letting the engine warm up to operating temperature, we ought to be able to get the rest of it in there. You guys can see there, hopefully we're at operating temperature. Let's go see if we got fluid running out. We're about down to the last half a quart that needs to go in. I've already pumped 2 full gallons in. You can see it's already starting to drip out there. You see that? At this point, we ought to be pretty full. Yeah, you see there? Once it gets to that point where it's running out at operating temperature, you can pull this out and replace the plug, and you should be good to go. And yeah, it's a pretty messy job, especially when I do it. There we go. Well, damn, I got some bad news, y'all. Aside from being kicked out of the shop, I guess it's mini truck time. Our brand new shift solenoid did not work, y'all. Hence the tow rope still being hooked up. I was so dang mad last night, you guys. I just cut the video and went in the house, man. I was super disappointed. No, but she in fact does not move, y'all. Got her in drive. Check it out. Oh, whoa, okay, we just jumped forward. All right, she's trying to move. It's kind of acting like it's low on transmission fluid. Why did this... I mean, I know for a fact it's not low on transmission fluid. We put 8.5 quarts of fluid back in it. We did the operating. There, look, it moves when you give it a good acceleration. I have to go to about 2,500 RPMs and then it jumps and goes. Let's try reverse. Let's see how this works out. That's over $2,000 and it's still not moving. Let's see. There it goes. There it goes. All right, we're backing up now. All right, that's really strange because we pumped 8.5 quarts of transmission fluid back in it and it ran out just like it's supposed to do. What is going on here? This ain't right. Yeah, let's put it in drive and see if we can get it to move. Oh, look, watch that RPM gauge. Usually like up over $2,000 is where it's trying to kick in at. Well, now it's not kicking it. There it goes. It moved. It budged. There it goes. Okay. Yeah. That's weird. I don't understand why it's doing that because I know for a fact it's full of fluid. Let's go reverse. I think it'll do the same thing. There it goes. Whoa, we're peeling out now. All right. Let's back off of it before we damage something. Kind of peeled out on that last one there. Yeah, I don't want to mess it up. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's that solenoid's not right, being aftermarket, cheap junk. I don't know. We may just end up just putting it back together the way it was and just sending it because at least then it worked, right? Go ahead and shut it off. Yeah, I don't know what to think, man. I told y'all we were flying by the seat of our pants on this thing, and here we are. I didn't want to use that cheap solenoid, but in order to get the ones that go in at the factory ones, they want you to buy the whole set, or they want you to get the whole valve body with them all. We can't do all that, man. That is just way too much money. So unless I can find a set of used ones, and then maybe we can use our rebuild kit that we got, see if we can refurbish them ourselves, or maybe we could find some that are already refurbished. I don't know. Never done this before. We've been here before, though. You guys remember, what was it, that old Chevy Cobalt we got from the dealer-only auction? Same situation, man. We had to go in it twice, but we did get it in the end. We're getting it in the end on this one. A whole nother way. I don't know, man. I'm trying to stay optimistic here, but I'm very disappointed. And man, I was really disappointed last night going through all that work and then getting in it and it just didn't even move, man. Oh God. Anyway, that's how it goes sometimes, especially when you're learning, and that's what we're doing. We're learning, and I guess we're going back in, but that'll be on the next one. I appreciate everybody following along. I really do. You guys help me out a lot with that. And you guys please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Don't forget my Instagram and my Facebook. Go on Weird Beard. Everything's free. It's all free. Hit the subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. And like I said, at the very least, we'll go in and just put it back the way it was. I mean, at least it was moving. And then we'll have to send it. I can't sit and hold on to it, and I can't keep messing with it. I got a lot invested in it already, and I need that back. So worst case scenario, we'll put it back together, send it through the auction, let somebody else deal with it, and we will move on. And that is just the way it goes sometimes, man. I mean, when you're buying and selling used cars, you gotta flip and skip, man. You can't just sit and mess with them forever. So we'll give it one more shot. It's just a matter of pulling the pan off, swapping that out, putting it back on. It's really not that hard. It's pretty, I mean, you guys seen it. It's pretty easy. It's not that hard. So yeah, anyway, looks like that's what we're doing. So I'm gonna get out of here for now. I'm just rambling on. I will see you guys later.